All right, everyone, welcome back to the freaking show, man. We're going to party in this episode today because we're talking about tips to sell your house right now, right? Thrilling stuff. And it's relatively simple. People sometimes like to think that, make you think you're about to watch a brilliant video and they've got all the insider track on how you sell your house. Okay, cool. Let me break it down for you and let me make this very, very simple. Before we get into it, maybe subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. You could drop a comment, especially if it's a question. Those help a lot. It gives me something to talk about on a week-to-week basis. And then if you actually need real estate help, you can go to 1911syndicate.com and check that out. We would love to help you. We work pretty much everywhere in the U.S. for good folks like you. So let's dig in. So for the last, I'm going to call it 12 to 24 months, you could put just a terrible house on the market and someone's going to buy it, right? You don't need to clean it. You don't need to repaint the walls. You don't need to do nothing, right? You just list it, throw a price on it. You could take photos. The listing photos could be from your phone and it's going to sell. Maybe not as well if you put a little bit of effort into it, but it would sell. Right now, totally different set of circumstances, right? As we head into 2023 now, hey, it's important that you understand it's a very different dynamic right now, and the market is way more favorable, towards buyers than it is sellers. So what do I need to know? What are the pro tips for selling my house? And it largely comes down to two things, okay? If we don't want to make this any more complicated than it is, cool. Those two things are relatively simple. One, appropriately priced. Not a guess based on, we think someone would maybe go that high because the market's crazy right now, but no. Real-time data, right? It's not 24 months ago. 24 months ago, a lot of people would waive appraisal waivers and they would just say, hey, look, we're going to give you 30 grand over what you're asking. It doesn't need to appraise for that. Whatever it appraises for, we'll cover whatever the gap is. Cool. This ain't that time, right? So it has to be appropriately priced, okay? Or either no one's going to come look at it, or people are just going to keep driving the price down until eventually you're forced to accept it, or you listed it too high and maybe some gullible person put it under contract just to have the appraisal come back and it's 20 grand low. And if they're semi-keen on the real estate market right now, they would never pay 20 grand more than something's worth, unlike 12 months ago. So they're just going to say, yeah, we're going to drop our purchase price down 20 grand, right? So appropriately pricing your house is very, very, very important. The other one of the big two are proper listing photos. So price and listing photos, good listing photos, these are the two main things that sell your house. Neither of these are rocket science, but they just take a little bit of effort, right? Just a little bit of effort. And unfortunately, I exist in an industry that is very low on the effort charts many a time. Now, each agent is going to determine what they think is the best course of action for listing photos. I will tell you this. I never charge my clients for listing photos. This is not a pitch to call us and use us for real estate, because other agents we work with might have a different thing. I'm just telling you personally, just so you understand where I would be at on this. I don't charge clients for listing photos. To me, that is part of my marketing expense for selling this house. So if your agent's coming to you and they're just saying hey, we want to do good listing photos, but it's going to be $500 and you got to pick it up. Okay, you're going to have to figure that one out with your agent. To me, I would not recommend going along with that, because it's just hey, look, that is part of the agent's job, right? We have inherent costs when it comes to doing business, and properly marketing a house via good photos is part of that expense, right? But they do need to be good listing photos these days, right? So the iPhone thing where it's a thumb is halfway in front of the lens, that doesn't work anymore. That actually really never worked, but you could kind of sort of get away with it. Sorry, I think we got a dog that's streaming down there. So if you hear a squeal, that's what that is. But you could kind of get away with some of that junk a year or so ago. Can't get away with that now. You need to make sure your agent is going to have proper listing photos done. It's not that you need to pull out all the stops, but it's I don't even really know what that means, but it's they need to be good. They need to show your house in a good light. And sometimes in actual good light, they need to be well lit. So beyond that, just a couple more of questions and things that aren't universal yeses or nos. It just sort of depends case by case. Should you invest a little bit of money into like repairs and touch-up work and things like that? Depends. You know, if it's a well-maintained house that you go, hey, they might want to swap out the carpet. To me, it almost makes sense to go, hey, look, instead of me trying to determine what you want to do, you know, if that's going to come up, it's almost like, look, let's just concede we might have to throw them a little credit if that comes up. It's case by case, which is why I, you know, am a little reluctant to chime in on that. But it's like, hey, repairs, touch-up paint, things like that. Consult with whoever you're using for that. Just go, what do you think? If we dump $5,000 into the house, is it needed, and does it yield us anything extra, in your opinion, or hold off and save that $5,000 for potential negotiation? Sorry, the dog's really getting after it down there. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. And then the other one, staging. Should you stage your house? Depends. How rough is it? You know, like, is it really rough? In which case, maybe. But the thing with staging is, again, that does require some capital. So to stage your house for, you know, a month or 2 months or 90 days or something, hey, you know, it's probably going to be a couple grand. I'm just throwing out a rough number here. I don't know. It's going to depend on the size of your house and how elaborate you want to do it. But it's like, hey, you know, staging, man, it might cost you a couple grand. Again, is that worth the upfront investment? And that on staging, I likely would ask a client they would probably be on the hook for the staging bill, just because it's like, you know, hey, if I'm selling, you know, $13 million New York City apartments, yeah, you pick up the bill because you know what the commission is. Like in regular real estate, client's probably going to have to pick that one up. Otherwise, you're just killing your margins. So anyway, stage it, depends, right? Again, consult with your agent. But those are kind of like 4 things that I would look at. The big 2, appropriately priced, good listing photos. A couple of the other ones, maybe stage it, maybe invest a little bit of money into touch up and paint and, you know, different repairs and things like that you think may come up based on the condition of your house. That's my 2 cents, right? So you can chime in below if you guys have any questions, anything that you would like answered in the comments. We get about 2 comments per week, but you could be one of those 2 people. Just imagine that, right? And maybe just a quick whiskey plug to start out the year. You can't actually get this. These 2 bottles are actually the same thing. It's got my ugly mug on the back of it and one other ugly mug from a man named Chris. He is Santa and I am the child in Santa's lap. And yeah, there's even the dog. That dog that's little yelping back there. He's over there in the corner, just you know, just hanging out like a little reindeer. You can't get this because this sold out. This was a limited edition whiskey that we actually put out via the 1911 Syndicate, but you can't get those anymore. It's kind of a dick move for me even showing it to you because it was really good and a lot of people have wanted to buy more of them. But you can't, it's sold out. Like I even have what I can't even get more of it, okay? And if my face is on the bottle and I can't get more, that tells you you can't get more. So anyway, but if you need real estate help, let us know. Happy to help if we can. See you guys next time.